Today we will tell you how and why Miami is becoming the main American city, and why Jeff Bezos and Messi moved here, as well as why the events of GTA 6 will take place right here.
We will show you the city from different sides and introduce you to new and long-time residents.
Make sure to watch this episode until the end, and you will definitely be able to understand if you want to live here. In general, we moved to Miami a year and a half ago. Before that, we lived for 4 years in the city of San Diego, California, on the West Coast. We just wanted to try living on the East Coast. But we didn't want to live in Philadelphia, New York, or Boston. We wanted to be somewhere with year-round summer and a warm ocean all year long. However, in Miami, we were put off by the lack of natural diversity compared to California.
Yes, that is to say, for example, in California there are oceans, snowy mountains, waterfalls, and even deserts. Of course, after such natural diversity, it's hard to move somewhere else. But Florida lured us with its low taxes, attractive business conditions, and, of course, warm ocean year-round.
And we decided to give it a try and did not regret it. We rented a modern apartment right by the ocean. To be honest, it's difficult to find such places in California, as the peak development of California occurred in the mid-20th century, while the peak in Florida is happening right now, with a lot of modern complexes being built everywhere.
And here you can live in an ocean view apartment in a skyscraper for $3,000. Of course, something similar in California or New York would be at least twice as expensive. And here we are, once again, living in Miami Beach, and you can walk everywhere. It's incredibly cool and quite a rarity for America, especially for California.
In general, the Art Deco style is very popular in Miami Beach, and that is what it is known for. In other words, Miami Beach is that old part of Miami that was incredibly popular in the mid-20th century when many stars lived here, and it was a fashion center in the USA. Of course, it looks a bit worn now, with many old buildings, while in Miami and other parts of the city, there are more modern buildings and a lot of skyscrapers being constructed. However, in Miami Beach, there aren't really any skyscrapers, and it seems that building them is prohibited in order to preserve the Art Deco style and the cultural uniqueness of the city.
By the way, this is where the legendary Ocean Drive and the main attraction of Miami are located.
This is such an atmospheric place, and being here immediately reminds you of GTA Vice City and the movie Scarface. Personally, I am waiting for the time when I can find our GTA 6 complex. In general, there are indeed many colorful characters here, and it attracts a lot of unusual people. It is here, on Ocean Drive, that the very mansion of Versace is located, where he lived. At that time, Miami Beach was considered the very center of fashion in America. And, by the way, it is here that Versace's life came to an end, as he was shot right on the steps at the entrance to his home.
Usually there are no fences, it's just that today is a holiday. Day to honor the military, which is why they are up. This street is sometimes close to cars, making it a nice place to walk. We often come here on foot or even ride our bikes to swim in the ocean. And, of course, I miss hiking in the mountains or surfing like it was in California. But here there is an alternative to surfing, where you stand like this behind a boat and imitate surfing. And we went there for a while, but somehow it just didn't quite click for me. There are advantages here. It's just the ocean, like warm milk. Right now, it has reached a temperature where you just don't want to get out. The locals, of course, don't suffer much. Many of them have boats, and I myself got a license to operate a boat, which is quite easy. By the way, we use the car 2 to 3 times instead of 7 days a week like we used to, because everything is within walking distance. But at the same time, I want to switch to water transportation because everything in my area is on the water, and it would be great to be able to buy a boat like that one day.
In general, to sum up all the advantages, housing in Miami is more affordable and modern, taxes are lower here, summer lasts all year round, there is better legislation since the state is Republican, there are more benefits, for example, for police or families, and there are significantly fewer homeless people. In fact, they are quite rare here, unlike in California.
Well, Now that we have figured out why we moved to Miami, let's head. The downtown, the business center where majority of the skyscrapers are concentrated. By the way, in terms of the number of skyscrapers, Miami is only surpassed by New York and Chicago.
Here, it is most noticeable how quickly Miami is developing. Compared to New York and Chicago, everything here is mostly new, and a huge number of buildings continue to be constructed throughout the city. Miami is generally a better city in terms of infrastructure. After all, there are a bunch of islands connected by bridges here, and you won't find anything like this anywhere else. When many canals run through the city center, you can admire the drawbridges and skyscrapers. Overall, if you love water, it will surround you from all sides here.
And to talk in more detail about how quickly Miami is developing, we decided to invite our friend Anya. She has worked a lot on projects related to construction here. Anya, please tell us how long you have been living here and what you're doing.
I have been living here for almost 5 years, and I am involved in development. Miami is currently experiencing significant growth, especially in real estate. And right behind us, you can now see the building that was designed by architect Zaha Hadid. It is known worldwide in the field of architecture. The penthouse in this building is owned by the Beckham family. By the way, they own 1/3 of the Inter Miami Soccer Club. Messi just transferred there, so you can see how that develops. And also behind us, you can see many construction cranes. This shows how much the city is growing. Wherever you go, wherever you look, there is construction everywhere. They are either building new structures or renovating something. Office buildings are being constructed here, which is practically unheard of anywhere else in America right now. No, even New York is converting its office buildings into residential ones, while here, in Miami, businesses are coming in, which means, in fact, South Wall Street is where Citadel, one of the largest hedge funds in America, is relocating. Microsoft is opening its office here. Apple and, of course, Bezos has moved here. So Amazon is coming to us as well. Major IT companies are relocating here. To my right, you can see the Miami Arena, where the basketball team Miami Heat plays. It is sponsored by the largest IT company in Florida, which is called Cosia. This very arena was called FTX Arena in honor of the cryptocurrency. They were planning to create a Silicon Valley, but for crypto right here. And as far as I know, they are continuing this story, but only more quietly after the scandal with FTX. Therefore, we are developing from a financial perspective, and as a result, all construction is progressing and companies are moving in. This means more jobs, which means new private schools will be built, and public schools will develop. Again, behind us we can see the construction of the Signature, that is, the named bridge of Miami, because there hasn't been any cool bridge in Miami. New York has one, San Francisco has one, everywhere has one, but we didn't have it. Now this is a huge project that is being sponsored by the government.
But it's also really great that Miami is a truly modern city, because America was built a long time ago, and here you can also feel like you're not in a concrete jungle. For example, we are standing here, and it's so pleasantly green, the whole city is on the water.
Yes, it's just such a healthy mix. We have the ocean, we have the bay. There are plenty of places to swim, go yachting, practice yoga in the park, and take the kids somewhere. We are also right next to huge children's museums right here. And at the same time, you have offices and all the infrastructure for work. Right now, the city is actively working on developing the transportation system because public transport, like everywhere in America, is not very well developed. But they really try hard, in fact. In Miami, there is the Mover Metro, which is an above-ground metro. It is completely free for everyone. And they want to extend it so that it goes right across this bridge to South Beach, making it easier for people from Miami to get to the beach. Currently, it is estimated that Florida, if it were a separate country, would be the 15th largest economy in the world. It is projected that by 2030, it will become the 10th largest economy globally. There are certainly some challenges that could hinder reaching the 10th place, but the city, the state, and our Governor DeSantis, in particular, are working to address all these issues. And, observing what is happening, I can say that they are doing quite well.
This is how we got to Bayside and took our coconuts.
Yes, we are in a very touristy place, even though it is a bay in front of downtown, in front of the city center. There are tourists around here, music is playing, coconuts are being sold, and there is a Ferris wheel. And this is exactly what Miami is famous for, as it is a tourist hotspot for all of America. And it's not just people from Latin America who come here. People from Canada and Europe definitely visit as well. It's a very touristy place. Behind us,
There is also a port from which many cruise ships depart.
You mentioned that you first came here in 2014. How much has Miami changed?
Yes, I remember I was pregnant here and walked right through this place. I even have a photo where the view of Miami is in the background, and there are a few skyscrapers. And to look at the Miami skyline now, it's like night and day. It has changed significantly with so much built and still being built remarkably. I also remember that my dad and I went to a very famous area in Miami, Wynwood, and he wouldn't let me out of the car because he said it was just scary there. Like, don't get out of the car, it's scary. And how Wynwood has changed now. I think we need to go take a look.
As we were walking to the Metromover, we decided, confess that it is actually very hot here. It's the end of May, and it's already 34 degrees. We are all just sticky. And of course, the first thing I always do is apply spray on myself. In fact, I do this all year round.
And you need to stay hydrated, which means you have to drink a lot of fluids. For me, it is bearable because most of the time you're indoors, but of course, our best season is in winter.
Well, here we are riding the ground metro, the Metromover, in Miami absolutely for free.
There is an air conditioner here. We're just about to pass under the new bridge being built in Miami. We'll have a beautiful arch. Oh, I see there's already one like that.
Well, friends, here we are in Wynwood.
Yes, and as you can see, it is absolutely not scary here. Unlike 10 years ago when getting out of the car was daunting. This is a very touristy place, known for the abundance of graffiti on the walls. It is truly an art district. And now it is also being developed with residential. Buildings, meaning buildings where people can rent apartments and live. There are many restaurants, hangouts, and small shops here. Of course, it's very authentic. And definitely worth a visit, and perhaps even worth living here because you can really get around on foot.
What I also like about Wynwood is that you always come here, and there's always something new popping up. In other words, some art installations are being remodeled, new ones are being added, new shops are opening, and new complexes are being built. The area is changing very quickly overall, and that's cool. Also, in honor of Messi moving here, they created this graffiti right in Wynwood. But overall, all of Miami is covered in graffiti. And sometimes you come across such interesting art installations, and you can feel that little piece of Wynwood, because it is probably the most popular area in America connected to this culture and street art in general. And here is a clear example in Wynwood. You can shoot automatic weapons here, yes, and there's a panda with guns painted here. And here is a print shop. We see what they print here. Everything is done with some kind of cutout newspaper clippings. It's really cool. Again, this is one of many examples in Wynwood. So, they are creating some establishment here and covering everything in graffiti. It's really cool. I can't wait to run around in this area in GTA. Wynwood was already shown in the GTA 6 trailer, so it will definitely be there. I am sure that there will be a huge number of storyline missions here, as this is one of the most interesting areas and is probably the most connected to this game.
You can have no doubt about the plausibility of GTA after this area. Hooray!
Right next door is a neighborhood called Little Haiti, which is not very safe. It's just a few streets away from us. I no longer recommend walking alone. Definitely not after dark. It is all patrolled.
There is a lot of police. It is constantly receiving additional funding. They are bringing even more police here.
And this is exactly one of those poor areas of Miami with vacant lots and all sorts of suspicious individuals. And it is indeed bordered by the Wynwood district. There is also, of course, a lot of graffiti here. Well, of course, if you want to see the other side of Miami, it looks something like this.
But the most interesting thing is that this area is located right next to the Miami Design District, which is very luxurious, featuring world-renowned brands, and it's completely different from where we are now.
Yes, it's also very stylish with a lot of interesting things, so we're going to show you now. Yes, let's go there.
Well, we parked the car in the design district. There are some really cool cars on top of the garage. Overall, it's quite creative here. And the coolest part is that in the evening, the headlights of these cars turn on.
Yes, all of Miami as a city loves neon, lighting, and decor. Even the simplest parking building looks beautiful like this here. I suggest we go for a walk and show what other interesting things are here.
Let's go. It is incredibly beautiful here. There are many boutiques, and overall, everything can be walked to.
Yes, it really is great to take a walk here. Everything is within easy reach with restaurants, many luxury stores. And by the way, shoppers from all over America come here, especially from New York, because it's cheaper here due to the lack of state taxes in Miami, Florida. Yes, all these brands are cheaper here. And of course, the architecture. Behind us is again a parking lot shaped like a big bubble, or swings to ride on and footboards. You can take photos for Instagram here. This place is definitely worth a visit. And it's really nice to be here. Where we are standing now, there used to be pineapple groves, and somewhere in the late 1990s, one investor began buying buildings here and giving them away for free to artists and designers. This is how the design district came to be. And then he invited Bernard Arnault to collaborate, the owner of LVMH, a major holding company that deals with fashion. And Bernard Arnault invested here. The first store he opened was Louboutin. Then he started opening all these boutiques behind us.
We are just looking at it, and it has a really cool wall designed to imitate a tree trunk.
They design all the shops here separately and individually, and this makes it a very special area.
Miami is one of the most glamorous places in the USA, and it's luxury. It's expressed not only in boutiques, but also in exclusive clubs and restaurants that not everyone can access.
For example, behind us right now is a restaurant called ZZ Club. It is accessible only to members. Membership costs between $5,000 and $10,000 per year, just so you can make a reservation and dine there. Of course, you pay separately for the food. But the residents of Miami really love these membership clubs to prove their exclusivity and luxury. Well, in general, it's just pompous, right?
Anya, there are probably people watching us right now who are thinking, this is great, I'm ready to break free. But what about work? Because some people say it's hard to go, while others say it's easy. I mean, it depends on how it works out for each person, right? Considering that you have so many acquaintances here, could you please share your feelings?
Well, look, my feeling is that everyone here will find a job for themselves, even without knowing English. Like, for example, we are currently in Sunny Isles. You can find a job here. Each of these stores is looking for employees. There are movers, nannies, and service staff. Yes, if you have some relevant education and a little bit of English, you can go a bit further and already get a job in an American company. Overall, it's not difficult, and I would say that our people are competitive because they are hardworking and because we have a completely different kind of resilience. In Florida, there is a resort city, Miami, where people are very relaxed and not particularly fond of working. That is, if you are willing to work and are ready to show it, you will find a job. Many of our people are still moving and starting their own businesses, just like they had in their country. This includes fitness studios, activities for children, baking cakes, organizing holidays, and engaging in business, such as marketing, just as they did back home.
Reselling, well, generally, it depends on what one is capable of. And here, overall, the population is large, so even a local business can be developed as well as online throughout all of America. By the way, for example, we know a guy who worked in a factory in Russia, and here he found a job on a machine within just a week, meaning he doesn't need English for the job, and the salary there is about $4,000 a month. Well, tomorrow we are going to Boca Raton. This is a solid suburb where Anya lives. She will show us around and explain why she chose to live there and why many people, especially those with children, live there.
In general, when talking about Miami, it is very important to mention that the salary-to-price ratio has worsened significantly as a huge number of people have moved here. And if Miami used to be considered a fairly affordable city, especially compared to Los Angeles and New York, it has now become quite expensive. Here, the average salary is enough for 1.4 months of living. As far as I know, this is one of the lowest ratios of salaries to prices in America. So the next day, we got up at 5 a.m. to head to Anna's area. She lives in Boca Raton. It's a 50-minute drive from downtown Miami.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Boca. It's very beautiful here. Let's go. I'll show you more details.
Come in. We have our own pool, a large kitchen for bedrooms, and here are 2 living rooms. Fun is right here.
Here is one living area, and the other is in another part of the house. This is the American story, to have many common. Curious. Let's go to the most interesting part, the pool. Yes, we have a grill. I have my own pool in the house for the first time in my life. It's very unusual. We have nature all around us. It's very important in Boca to have that feeling of nature because in Florida, there isn't as much, not like in California, you know. We have trees, palm trees, and pines here. And it's really very different. You have a completely different sense of personal space. You can make noise. You can go to bed whenever you want. You have more of a feeling of home. If someone has lived at a summer house in the summer, it's the same feeling as living at a summer house. The only difference is that you dress decently, because at the summer house, you usually wear sweatpants. And by the way, for me, this explained in my mind why so many Americans dress very casually. In pajamas and sweatpants, they don't stress at all, because remember what you wore at the summer house. From here, there's culture, but you're in your pajamas, you need to go get bread, so why bother dressing up or putting on makeup? You get in the car, you can go barefoot, you arrive, you walk, that's it. You have a completely different rhythm of life, but there's actually more work to do because the pool gets cleaned by someone. Yes, we have a robot for cleaning the pool. We have a person who comes to mow the lawn. We also trim things ourselves here, so the work at home never really ends anywhere, not even in America.
Anya, you showed a simply wonderful house that you live in. I wonder how much such a house with 4 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and 2 bathrooms costs.
Yes, having 2 bathtubs and your own pool is also important and adds to the price. You rent it for $6,200 a month. Basically, that's the average price if you're renting a house of that size. But I just have a large family, and of course, you can find cheaper options in our area. Before that, we rented a 3-bedroom apartment in Boca, and we paid $3,000 for it.
Just look at how many mangoes there are. Just look, you have mangoes in your backyard. Awesome.
Anya, can you tell us about the district?
Listen, in general, Boca Raton is considered, I would say, a suburb of Miami, although it is located in a different county. These are the kind of suburbs that look like they came straight out of the show Desperate Housewives. There are a lot of single-family houses here, and people move here for the comfortable, peaceful lifestyle, primarily for the schools, as the large schools in South Florida are considered to be here. It is very calm and safe here. There are many families and children here. Everything is already in place for that, including schools, shopping centers, and playgrounds. It is very comfortable to live here. The city of such communities and golf courses. Basically, that's all you need to know about Boca Raton.
Cool. Why did you move here from Miami? How did you decide?
I really like it. I lived in the same place where you live now, right in that same house. I really enjoyed it there, but I have a child, so I moved for a more calm life.
And school? Right. You go to public school here. And there.
Yes, we attended public schools. The schools here have good ratings, just the best ratings everywhere in Sewalls Point, Florida. Everything near Miami has the best schools, and that's exactly why people come here. In comparison, it is still touristy there, with a very large mix of people from Europe and all over the world. I can't say that the education is bad. No, I have no complaints about that, but it doesn't feel like an American school. Because of that, you know. And here, there is definitely the vibe of an American school, buses, school, events, assemblies, kids. This is really America, and another interesting difference is that in Miami Beach, the schools in Miami have Spanish as part of their curriculum here. An hour's drive from Miami, there is no Spanish in the curriculum anymore. So we moved a little bit away, and this is already the influence
Of Latin America, which is decreasing. The further you go north, the less it becomes.
Wow. Yes, Miami is definitely the capital of Latin America, I think. Such a large metropolis on its own, and they're mainly. Well, there's a lot in Spanish, you know, here and in Miami itself. But just an hour's drive away, it's all different. Interesting. Well, speaking of Florida, I think we simply can't avoid discussing politics. How do you feel the influence of this Republican administration in the state?
First of all, I moved to Florida specifically because there are Republicans here that become safer, more traditional family values, if you know what I mean. Also, education in schools, the approach to learning and family education. This is very important, and it has become known to the whole world why this is necessary after COVID. Because they reacted to it very appropriately. Here, you could walk the streets and go to stores. It was much easier than in democratic states where people didn't leave their apartments for several months.
Well, yes, they quickly fell into some kind of dictatorship, meaning that everywhere they started imposing everything, democracy immediately evaporated, and it became clear who was making all the decisions.
And there wasn't anything like this here, which is why many people moved here after COVID-19. Because we have a mix of everything, great policies, good weather, schools.
I know there are no licenses here. Even for us, we need to pay various licenses and fees in California. Here, there is nothing at all.
And here, everyone will find their place. Therefore, it is currently a mecca for all immigrants, even people from the United States. Many are moving to Florida. There is a very large boom.
You have a digital marketing agency, right? I'm really curious to know who your clients are. I mean, do you work with Americans or with Russian speakers? Can you tell me about the agency? Because I know it's really cool, and people need to hear about it.
Yes, I have actually been building my agency for 4 years. Now I work only with Americans or English-speaking clients, which means they can be immigrants. And this, of course, is very important for the success of my agency. It is quite difficult to find quality services here. If you try to enter the market in America with your knowledge and skills, you won't find any prices here. In other words, if they like everything, they will stick with you until the end. They don't spare any money on marketing because, well, America. They understand why it is necessary, that it is not just pictures, photos, and a website, but that it is important to them. This, again, is precisely the American mentality that you must invest in your business, and accordingly, you will be successful if you put money into it.
If it's not a secret, how much are you earning, and how many clients do you have right now?
I currently have 6 regular clients. I run an agency, and I stepped away from it. Personally, my income is around $30,000 a month. But I want to say that even if you come here and start working just in SMM, the salary can be $2,000 to $5,000 a month per client. So this is quite realistic.
Well, friends, Miami is definitely one of my favorite cities. I really enjoy living here because of the warm climate, cheerful people, and rapidly developing infrastructure.
Miami has given me the opportunity to swim in the warm ocean at any time of the year, especially compared to the cold Californian ocean. People here even say in winter, "Oh no, I'm cold." The water here is warmer than in Californian winters, and it's incredibly cool because I never thought that the weather could affect my energy levels. For example, I recently went home and I realized, oh my God, I just can't work. I want to sleep. And it was Miami that gave me the opportunity to relax and recover thanks to this incredibly beautiful view of the palms, the warm ocean, and the beach. And if you live in other states and feel like, man, I wake up feeling tired, just come and check out Miami. Or if you want to come here from any other country in the world, know that we can help you. You can write to us about your situation, and we will help you create a plan and guide you on the budget. We hope to see you again offline. Goodbye for now.